because I did not watch TV that much. It did not bother me too much. That I saw series that I already knew. Also, it was strange to see a movie trailer for an old movie on TV. Of course, I knew how well those new films will perform at the box office, how popular a new series will eventually get, and all the things that came from the fact that you know how things will turn out in a few years. I really did not see anything new on TV. It was very tempting to tell everything and brag with my knowledge, but I only recall once that we were in the movies watching a movie, and before the movie started, I assumed how the movie will end and all the plot twists. I guess after that some of my friends did not believe I knew it, but rather that I got it off a film magazine. When in class, I recalled one thing in particular these days. It concerned the desk we were sitting at. The wood really wanted to be written on, so often someone would write something on the table he was sitting at. It was a form of expression. Sometimes, when we had to leave our class and some other class was having a lesson, we would return and the people that were sitting at our tables would sometimes write something. Too often this led to a conversation because we would write back. Some people wrote really stupid things. Too bad. When they sat on our table, you would have a stupid quote or a name of someone's favorite band that you just happened to hate on your desk. But writing on the desk was a favorite pastime of us all, mostly when there was a very dull lesson or when the teacher was not really an authority, because most of the teachers were very angry when we wrote on our desks. I remember that September. Our teacher proposed huge sheets of paper that we would wrap around the tables. This way we could scribble as much as we could, and then, if we didn't like it, just throw that paper away. Soon other classes would follow. I had a big decision to make: how to decorate my part of the desk. This was very important. I did not want to have some stupid quotes on there, maybe a picture, but then again, my drawing wasn't that good. I ended up with an indifferent mix of my own quotes and a few drawings. I thought it was fine. After the Redux, of course, I wanted something special. When I looked at the tables of my classmates, suddenly I realized it. I looked here and there, but everything seemed so stupid. How could he write that? It was horrible. Therefore, I decided to do what was best. I did not write anything. There. That was something else. And it went well with the new me, I guess. Although there was a drawback: other people would write on my desk, so it would make it seem I wrote it. Then, if a girl coming to our classroom and sitting at my place would see that it was me sitting there, what would she think of me? I went with the obvious choice. I thought of it several days, the exact words which to write on the table. I took a red marker and wrote, "Leave this table clean, please." There. It was better than saying, "Do not write on this table," because some smarty could interpret it like that he could not write, but very well draw. I knew it. That's why I came up with this. And now, whenever someone would write or draw on this table, anyone could plainly see that it was not me, that I wanted the table to be clean. That whole thing lasted about 2 months. Then someone took a black marker and completely covered my message. I guess there are things that cannot be won. If I wanted to express myself, I had to be active. But that is exactly not what I wanted. When you are active, you say things which can then be used against you. Even with the most careful selection of words, a skilled person would always be able to attack you, and you would have to explain you meant those words. I decided to leave the table the way it was. Maury did not want to remove the cover, because he had a conversation going on with a girl. At least the one who wrote it was pretending to be one. For first, that was it for my desk scribbling. I had other things on my mind. It was October. This month was very special for one reason. Upon reaching the 2nd grade, we had to take a course in classical dancing. The course would take place every Friday in the Civic Center for the next 2 months, so approximately 8 lessons. At the end, there was supposed to be a ball where all second graders were invited. Oh, so that's what you meant with Miori. Because the dance teachers could not effectively handle a big people mass, they decided to split all second graders into 2 groups, each comprising of 3 classes. Logically, the first group was A, B, and C. Classes D, E, and F were the second group. For me and Mori, this was one of the best times, if not the best time at Mizumi Ground School. It was the first time we actually could touch a girl, or just be close to one. It is a very different situation to that when we were in the classroom. Often while discussing a problem or copying homework from each other, we got very close together, but the dance class had something official in it. At that time we did not know what it was, but we could picture it very well. Every Friday afternoon at the Civic Center in dresses and suits. From that perspective it looked really magical. Also the people from Class A and Class C would be present, and that added to the excitement, because it was possible that the teacher would mix those classes together. The thought of having to dance with a girl from the other class was electrifying. We spent many lessons breaks going around the school corridors with Mori, first looking for classes 2A and 2C. We were trying to remain discreet. It was all too obvious that we were not from that school wing when we stopped before that 2A sign. In an instant we turned around and went back. We felt we were strangers and people might ask why we are there. Of course it would have been obvious that we were checking out the classroom. We were trying to find out just who was going to be in the Civic Center the first Friday. After some time we knew some faces that were from the 2C and 2A. This investigative work made us look forward to the start of the classes even more. It was too bad for me that Miori, the girl I liked, was into the I secretly hoped that they would change the arrangements, but that never happened. Nevertheless, dance classes were now all we lived for. The coming first lesson neared with growing excitement and anticipation. The real drawback was the Saturday torture with buying a suit for me. I thought I looked ridiculous, but a short phone call with Mori gave me at least a peace of mind. He also thought he looked terrible. And so I went out, all dressed up. Going through the city, for me the main goal of the first evening was to see Miori. Our group was having their lessons in Hall 2, whereas Hall 1 was reserved for Miori's group. Well, you could just go to Hall 1 and tell that you make a mistake, or you are lost or something, and ask Miori maybe to show you the way or something. Seriously, man. When I roughly estimated the crowd at 200 people, together with the fact that everyone will be wearing clothes very different to the standard, it seemed impossible to even catch a glimpse of Miori. So I talked Mori into coming half an hour earlier, because Miori surely would not come that early. That way we would only have to look at the entrance and we could not miss anyone. I met with Mori in front of the Civic Center and we went inside to put our coats away. It was pretty embarrassing for me to go in the bus all dressed up. I felt the looks of the other people on me. I knew they knew that I was going to take dance classes. I mean, how more obvious could it be? Luckily for me, Kumi got on the bus halfway down the road. She saved me. It was a little strange for the whole class to be dressed up like that, but we joked about it a little and the tension went away very quickly. With 15 minutes passed, Mori had a great idea. We went to the second floor to a glass window, where we could see everyone come. However, the dusky sky made great idea not so great. We could not properly see the faces of the people and we had to go down. In the main lobby near the wardrobes there were so many people now that it was impossible to monitor the entrance, and standing on the stairs would be too obvious. We joined our class that was assembled in the direction of Hall 2. I tried as hard as I could, but no Miori. I would ask Mori to take a walk with me, pretending we are going somewhere, just to look for Miori, but the teachers were already directing us towards the halls. I noticed right away, of course, but only when we were guided in the hall. I realized how everyone looked. The girls had beautiful dresses, some of them also did their hair, a little differently. I looked at Mori and he knew too. He was looking at the girls from 2A. The first lesson was a bit of a disappointment. We only danced with our girls. The boys got to pick the girls and everyone was too shy to ask someone not from their class. I danced with Suzy and Yoshiko. I thought it would feel special to touch a girl, but even though the feeling of holding a girl was wonderful, it was still nothing too special. Maybe because we knew each other and were friends. When we finished the lesson, we all gathered in the lobby, and there, I saw her. Miori was there in a beautiful green dress. My heart rate doubled instantly. I told Mori to look. He also saw her now. I had to take my coat, and in the process of going outside, I looked at her a few times. Of course, always in a very neutral way, so that there was no way of knowing. And what luck I had. She and two other girls left before us, so I asked Mori and we went out after them. This was great, because this way I could look at her without her knowing and without looking suspicious. You know, for a guy who somehow was moved back in time, you probably are not doing anything different than you've done in your first life. Can you say that? And I would know which way she's going and get a first impression where she might live. With a little more luck, her bus would come sooner than mine, and I could see which one she takes. That would say a lot. Not to mention, when I knew which bus she takes, I could take that bus and maybe see her sometime. I hope she would take the 98 or 56. I could alternatively use those to get to school. That would be wonderful. But as for that day, my bus came way too soon and Miori was standing at a bus stop opposite to my direction. But considering the great events of the day, I was as happy as I could be. Now I had so much to think, dream and fantasize about. I would spend the whole week with it. I'm sure you were doing the same before. I was in such a great mood during the ride home with Jan, Seto, Kumi and Tomomi. That was the first day of the dance lessons. I will never forget it. So, what was I supposed to do now when I was about to relive it? How should I react? Maybe I should look out for Miori better. I will surely spot her when she comes. I now knew what kind of dress she would be wearing. I just had to focus on the green color and I would not miss her. And I still remembered where in the wardrobe she took her coat from, so I just had to look in that direction. The first thing that was better about the Friday of the dance lessons was that on the previous Saturday I was out buying a suit. But this time I did not feel embarrassed. My mom was with me, which is normally a huge humiliation if one is seen by someone. And a terrible stiff suit to try to get out of the fitting room and face the judgment of a parental eye. And possibly further humiliation in the form of comments on your looks, or the worst, when she straightens up the clothes and makes sure he's okay. But that Saturday I took the initiative and finally we picked a model that I actually liked. My parents already were slowly getting used to my changed behavior, and this particular aspect made them very happy. When I look back at that Saturday, I really had a good time shopping with my parents. We laughed a lot and we ended up having a cake in the end, which was also very different to the first time, where we just went home in a silent, slightly angry, but at least you have a suit now mood. I spent the whole week pre-thinking what would happen, how I would react. I thought of robbers taking over the halls, where I would save everyone, or a little more down to earth, of Miori dropping something that I would pick up, or just having a good time with the girls from my classroom because I knew now they also were beautiful and loving. At that time, of course, none of us realized. Then I thought of picking a girl from another class. I would not care and she would not know what to say. She would be nervous, but I would gently guide her and make her feel appreciated. Or after the lessons, Miori would for some reason end up in a bus with me. So many thoughts I had, and they were quite similar to those I had before the Redux. I guess I have not changed that much. But as usual, I knew that it would come differently, and to be honest, I expected something to happen and was looking forward to something new. The first thing I did not do was ask Mori to come earlier. We met in the lobby, although I came just as early because I knew Kumi was coming early and I wanted to be with her, so she did not have to feel embarrassed. Soon other girls came as well. I wanted to drop off my coat off near the place where Miori was going to put her. But then I wanted to go even further. I felt so strong. I even saw her coming. See, this was also one of those things. It wouldn't be possible for me to see Miori come if I had not known from what direction she would come and what people are her classmates. Because I knew this about her, I was able to make more out of the moment. And I was going to continue like this. Because, well, I had this chance. I had all this knowledge, so I just had to use it. I had to. So I strategically waited until she took off her coat and put it in the spot she chose. As I looked at her, I almost stopped thinking about everything else in the hall. I compared her to the image in my memory. For some reason, I never noticed her shoes back then. As I studied the length of the dress, it was just above her knees. I did not even remember that. I could not quite pinpoint whether she was wearing any makeup. If so, then only a little. When she was gone, I put my coat on the same hook as she did, on top of her coat. It was normal where there were not that many places to put your coat in. This was so great. It showed my total supremacy in the situation. Because, should Miori come sooner, she will have to pick up my coat and then take her from underneath and then it back again. And maybe I'll get there by that time and I will have to ask her for my coat that she will be holding in her hand. It was just perfect. All was going the way it was supposed to go. I turned toward our class and started the talk with San. He did not feel too confident in his suit, so I just talked normally to him and made him feel the dress is something I do not notice as strange. We were called to the halls. The last quick glimpse at Miori was not possible, but that was okay. For the lesson I would first choose Suzy, and then, when the second round was starting, I made it seem like I was having something with my watch. I stopped for a second fixing it, while everyone was already going to ask the girls. I quickly joined the team, but now there were no girls from our class left. Only a few from A, that no one wanted to dance with. I asked the one that I found the prettiest and danced with her. She got to be surprised at my skill, which of course I had. Already Suzy was praising me how well I was doing for a first lesson, and this girl must also have felt the experience. I had a nice evening, really, and I made sure I left the room just a few seconds earlier than the last time to not miss Miori. Well, Miori did not come earlier, so my plan was not really working, but the thing was, I could wait. She didn't know me or anything. Still, Mori did not know about my plan and our class was already on their way, so I didn't want to be left behind. I had to get my coat. And just as I was about to get my coat, Miori came. She was really close, I must have not noticed her, shame on me. I was in panic, but then, somehow, by an instinctive force, I took my coat and since I was there, looked at her and just took her coat and handed it to her so she didn't have to get it herself. I barely looked at her, I wanted it to seem like I maybe saw her putting her coat in there and wanted to be nothing more than friendly. And I went straight to where my classmates were, as if nothing happened.